an update for you, and we'll begin with that. The down power lines in Maui, the wildfire, that is where we begin. The death toll is rising, but let's take a look at this footage.
It's windy, and then there's a flash, and I think that's when a tree's falling on a power line. The power goes out, our generator kicks in, the camera comes back online, and then the forest is on fire. I grabbed 2 fire extinguishers. We put out the fire just on like the edge of the property here, and then ran back inside, got more fire extinguishers, garden hoses, just whatever I could find, the closest things. And we went out and just kind of contained it the best we could just to prevent it from getting out of control. And then, I texted Lance and said, it's in the grass, it's trying to jump the road. We need some assistance, so.
Doing all they can, overpowered, overmatched, if you will, devastation in Maui. The county of Maui PD confirming the following identities of victims now. Let's take you there. Involved in the Maui wildfire disaster as of August 15th, because there's gonna find more bodies, folks. But as of August 15th, the following individuals have now been identified. Next of kin notified, 79-year-old Buddy Jantok, 74-year-old Robert Dickman, identified as victims who perished in the fire. So sad when you think about all the people who are gonna face this. The August 15th press release stated further, currently we have 3 individuals who are pending next of kin notification. At the time of this release, there have been 106 human remains recovered. They are waiting identification. Washington Post has this reporting: the down power lines likely caused Maui's first reported fire. That was at 10:47 p.m. Last Monday, a security camera, we showed it to you at the Maui Bird Conservation Center, captured that bright flash in the woods, illuminating the trees that were swaying in the wind, such powerful winds. In the video posted to Instagram, Jennifer Pribble, a senior research coordinator at the center, can be heard saying, "I think that is when a tree is falling on a power line." Something investigators will of course look at. And of course, they'll be looking to see what else could have been done and who, if anyone, is responsible for much of the devastation, things getting out of hand when perhaps they could have been contained. No determination yet. At that exact moment though, 10 sensors, small rural town, East Maui region of upcountry, where that conservation center is located, recorded a significant incident in Hawaiian Electric's grid. That's according to data from Whisker Labs, a company that uses an advanced sensor network to monitor grids across the US. The bright light in the video was probably an arc flash. What is that? Well, it's something that happens when a power line faults, meaning it has come in contact with vegetation or another line, or gets knocked down, releasing power, usually through sparks. Again, according to Whisker Labs official and other experts who are buying into this, they believe there is already enough evidence that this is what took place. Now, the fire in Makewau was the first of several reported on Maui last week, and this is the first time an electrical malfunction caught on video has been directly correlated with data confirming that Hawaiian Electric's power system experienced a major problem at the same time. The Washington Post with that one. It adds to evidence that the state's main utility equipment sparked multiple fires last week when power winds predicted for days, remember they had warning of this, whipped through drought-stricken grasslands while the still burning fire had nothing to do with the blaze that roared into Lahaina. It was one of several fires sparked August 7th and 8th. At least one of those exploded into the blaze that roared into Lahaina, overwhelming residents, tourists, and firefighters. Remember, these people said they had virtually no warning. No sirens went off, nothing, until the fire was racing towards them. They tried to outrun it in vehicles, and too many were lost in the blaze, the smoke inhalation. Asked about the Coinciding video and sensor data, a spokesman for Hawaiian Electric, the power provider for Maui and other islands, declined to comment. Our immediate focus is on supporting emergency response efforts, restoring power for our customers and communities, and developing a long-term recovery plan. That from the spokesman, Darren Pye. We know there is speculation about what started the fires, and we, along with others, are working hard to figure out what happened. As the upcountry conservation workers tried to save endangered birds last Monday night, the fire quickly spread across pastures, thick trees, dead branches, eucalyptus-flecked areas. A few hours later, across the island in Lahaina, another fire would pop up next to an electrical substation after a bright flash. Now, in interviews and online messages, 8 residents said they had long raised concerns with Hawaiian Electric about the utility's aging poles and power lines strung across Maui, which in places there are thick, drought-stricken trees, brush, and grasslands. For days, the utility has faced scrutiny since the Post reported that despite warnings, the company had not cut power in advance of the windstorm to avoid sparking wildfires. It had not adopted a power shutoff plan as many utilities in California and other states have done. While it is not yet clear if an independent governmental authority will launch an investigation, Hawaiian Electric has begun investigating where people say the fires ignited. On Monday, inspectors from Los Angeles walked around Kula, a town near the bird sanctuary that sustained significant damage, asking residents when and where they first saw the flames and when their power went out. Maybe it's too soon to speculate, but there's already some, I guess what you legal minds would call circumstantial evidence here. There are theories being developed. They're more than just theories, hypotheses, right? They're supported. I wonder what you make of, we're talking 8 residents. They didn't say 8 members of one family. So it seems that these people all complained of the same thing. And well, pardon the pun, but where there's smoke, there often is fire. And with this amount of devastation, if it leads to a company, again, there's no determination that the power company is at fault here. Could there be, though, criminal implications or just civil?
So I guess the legal answer would be it depends, right? And it depends on who is in control at the time. It depends on what was known ahead of time. It also depends on the laws in Hawaii in that area and how things are prosecuted. I think obviously, or in my opinion, there would likely be at least civil issues here, right? In terms of negligence, who's liable for this? If you had pre-warning, if there were things that could have been done to protect the residents ahead of this tragedy that were either ignored, right? If the actions that were taken were not reasonable by the electrical company, then I could see a civil litigation here, which could stretch far, right? Because now you have an entire island that is suffering. There have been multiple casualties and things of that nature. So it could likely get very messy in a legal sense, in this instance.
Yeah, when you're talking about the death toll climbing and transparency, 106 souls gone, identified. Listening to some of the first responders talk about what they've encountered. Flames so hot that metal disintegrated. So you might imagine how difficult it is to even ascertain, are these human remains? DNA is being collected from survivors to try to identify loved ones here. The scrutiny, I guess. I wonder what you make of that. You already have officials from Los Angeles. You have celebrities with real ties to Hawaii, several islands. Everybody's watching, and I wonder what you think that scrutiny will mean to the overall recovery, of course, but also, again, the investigation.
I mean, this is a humanity issue, right? And so people should be scrutinized. This community of people not only have lost family members, but property, right? Landmarks are destroyed, animals, right, are destroyed, all on account of potential negligence, right? So I think the scrutiny goes far and wide because these are residents who you see them trying to save their space where they live, where they pay to live in their homes, right? Where they pay property taxes and where they put forth the financial means to help run that community, that they have elected officials and elected people to help them maintain and to keep them safe. And it just seems like there was a ball dropped here. And so I do think that we know how short the attention span is of people in the media and the news and stuff like that. And that in another week, we'll have another story that perhaps overshadows this one, but these community members will be dealing with the refuge of this for a long time. Not to disregard the fact that people lost family members and they'll have to deal with that heartache and that pain. They have lost resources, right? And people still have their everyday lives that they will have to continue on with, in addition to dealing with what happened in this situation, where again, it sounds to me like it was preventable. So I think people need to be reprimanded at the end of the day. But I hope we keep a close eye on this, because we cannot have things like this happening to the little bit of earth we do have left at this point.
Yeah, our hearts go out to the people, so many devastated, affected by this. I still have Jason Momoa in my head. He was so emphatic about the place he loves. Do not come here. Don't try to capitalize on this. Don't try to profit. If you want to help, here's where you can go. Here's the number. Don't come here. We do not want anything except respect as we try to put the pieces back together, including grieving here.